What's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of Mob True Crime, as well as Mob and Organized Crime TV. Both channels on YouTube are rocking and rolling, getting things going again. We'd like you to please consider hitting the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and of course, share these videos and leave comments in the comment section here. So today we have a couple of interesting stories that tie together. Very recently here in Vegas, well, where he's at in Vegas and where my picture is, there was a major heist at a casino. And we're going to play that video. And then also, this is going to tie back to something that happened back in the early 90s, right after the mob was kicked out of Vegas, and why and how that happening ended up with casinos getting handled all of a sudden. So, what's up, Mike? How you doing, buddy?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Excellent, man. Excellent. It's great to be in front of a picture of Vegas as usual, and you get to be in the real thing right now. How's everything going over there?
It's going. It's good. The weather's nice.
Yeah,
I just got back from Miami, and the weather was 50 degrees. It was freezing. I'm like, that never happens. I was like, really, dude? I'm in Miami right now, and it's 50 degrees outside. It was, and with a wind chill factor of probably 35 miles an hour. I was like, it was crazy.
You plan a trip to Miami, and of all the things to happen, it freezes over.
Right.
But hey, we can't control everything. So Here we go, folks. Back in November, there was a heist at one of the casinos. We're going to play the short video from the news clip here, and then quick commentary. Then we'll get into the other part of this story.
Story caught on camera in Las Vegas, that brazen robbery at a casino. This happened on Thursday of last week, and obviously in a casino, it was all caught on tape. So it shows a man walking up to a cashier's cage, showing an AR-style rifle and demanding money. You can also see that security guard approach the man, but then backing off when he sees that powerful gun.
Yeah, police say that the employee complied and the suspect got away. They're still looking for him. No, police did not name the casino involved. You see that officer or security guard just putting his hands up and walking away when he sees the type of gun that he has. Story caught on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When he saw that gun, yeah. These two really look like the kind of people you would want to hear a crime story from, especially an AR story. The casino. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, oh my God, they robbed the casino, dude. And oh my God, that's where I get my margaritas at. That one section over there.
Well, it's right across from Tivoli Village, and that's like a really high-end area in Summerlin.
Yeah. Well, what was the name of the casino? You know it because you're from there.
Rampart Park Casino.
Rampart.
It's in Rampart Park. It's Suncoast, I think.
Okay. Well, look at what he's wearing there. He's got like the helmet going on, like the militia helmet, sort of, right?
Right.
Got an AR.
You can walk in anywhere. Can you just walk into anywhere now dressed like that and not look suspect?
Yeah.
It's like
he walks past the valet parker.
You look like a G.I. Joe.
How are you, sir?
You look like a G.I. Joe character. Come on.
Yeah, that's like yeah. I mean, all right. Well, hey, do you have your points card on you?
Yeah, right. He was playing
blackjack.
He was playing blackjack before he went to the cage.
I got my own points card here.
Trying to go cash in his chips.
He's like, yeah. He cashed out some chips, all right. So you know what? He didn't get caught though. He's still on the loose.
Wild.
The FBI's offering $5, bro.
To see this dude like this on a bicycle.
He did. He escaped on a bike. That's
He had a 10-speed. I was like, dude, come on, man.
Bro, he's got his freaking AR and
hilarious.
Escaping on the 10-speed, old school.
He really thought it out, dude. He really must have scoped this place for a while to know how retarded that was, or crazy.
Yeah, if he knows he can do it like that, then he's, they're going to be going back, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, they will be going back to old video to see who's kind of been watching the casino
Right.
a little too much. The guy that's only sitting there with a drink, sipping really slow, looking all around, taking little notes.
That's wild.
Yeah, well, do you want him to get caught? What do you think? Do you think he should keep the money without today's Vegas is, or no?
I mean,
Yeah, I think he should get caught, but I think he should be able to spend the money before he gets caught. I hope they catch him because I don't support crime, but since he did it with a 10-speed and an AR and the helmet, let him spend it before he goes away for 20 plus years, because they're not going to play around with him in Nevada, bro.
no, not at all.
This ain't Cali where he could be out in like 2 years.
You threatened. You pointed a weapon at another person inside the casino. So
right.
That's wild.
He's not going to get the progressive liberal treatment like he would if he was in California. They'd say he looks like a potential victim of long-term issues, and there's been issues in his past, and
if it was California and they tackled him, he'd have a lawsuit against them.
Well, that's the other thing. If he got arrested in the middle of doing it, he would be able to sue the DA and sue the cops in the casino, and they would be forced into a good plea deal for him.
You broke my ankle.
Yeah.
I'm suing.
Bro, that's some serious crazy stuff. That's a whole nother topic. We'll tackle that one day about how easy it is to get away with things in states like Cali and now New York too, because apparently we're supposed to to concern ourselves with the feelings of criminals, and especially 211 artists. It's the world we live in. We have to think about how they feel as they're going in there and doing these heists and these robberies. We have to think
how he's still in the casino or in California. So say he stole $5,000, but he got hurt on the robbery, and he could sue for $1 million.
Well, there. You know what? A smart crook is going to say, "Hey, let me jack a casino in Cali, like let's just say the card place, the card casino down there in Commerce, California. We're both familiar with that place,
right?"
You go in there, not me and you, but just the theoretical guy goes in there knowing that maybe he just needs to slip while doing do the robbery in such a way where you're going to get grabbed, fall down, hurt yourself, and you get richer than you would from the heist itself, and you probably get less time because you didn't go across through the door yet, so it's technically kind of in this casino. It might just be a gun possession at that point.
That's wild.
By the way, if you're a nutcase out there, do not follow what I just said. Do not listen to what I just said, and do not copy what I just said. I'll tell you if you do try that. All right.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Kids, don't try this at home. So check this out. So when I saw this story, it took me back to many, many years ago. And, back in the day in 1994, I was going in and out of Vegas mainly to go back east. And, I obviously was around connected guys and some of the guys that put in the basic cannabis work, if you will, the green work. And later we did our own casino stuff here in California, dice games and stuff that's, still not legal to this day. So theoretically somebody could still do them. And around that time was when the first ones, the real ones, started happening. Now keep in mind, folks, all the way into the 80s, like late 80s, I want to say, mid 80s at the latest, or late 80s at the latest. A lot of the casinos still had Midwest mob influence. They had the Chicago guys out there at the Stardust and other places. There was a bunch, the Dunes, all the old school casinos had been connected. They had connections to New York, of course, and Detroit.
Mostly Chicago.
Yeah, especially after like 78 when Atlantic City legalized their stuff. From what I understand, the New York mob and the Chicago mob agreed that the New York guys would have Atlantic City's action, as would like the Philly, that whole area. But in exchange, though, the Chicago mob would have the most influence out west. Now, however that worked, it worked. But the point being is that once they were gone, once the FBI took these guys out, Operation Strawman 2, which you saw in the movie Casino, where they raid the casino and all that. Once they were gone, the whole aura and image of the mob running the place was done for. A lot of things changed in Vegas overall, right?
Not in a good way.
Not a good way. The comps went down. The mob used to give away all kinds of merch, bro.
Well, that's because we talked about this. Every casino was owned by a different family. It wasn't all corporate America where they all owned all the casinos all in one, all in one basket. So every casino was giving away things to get your business to keep coming to their casino.
Exactly. And there were a lot of casinos at the time. The Strip was obviously much less packed when it came to the big, resorts that we see now. Caesars and those casinos were around, of course, and the Mirage, and I think Excalibur was like built in '93, so that lets you know how few of the casinos were even up at that point. Maybe 91.
No, I think it was even later than that.
94.
Yeah, somewhere around there. You gotta be curious. I want to look now.
Man, look it up. So
I was there around 94, 95. I think the only thing that was there at that time at that end of the Strip was
I thought Excalibur was the furthest one, if I remember right. Look it up.
In the Luxor, I think. I don't know. Let's see.
So yeah, folks, a lot of things changed. The comps went this way.
You're 1990.
So 1990 was when Excalibur was built.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. I was just 15 years old. So, I'd only gone to Vegas with my family in the 80s and that kind of stuff up till then. I didn't get my first fake ID till I was 18, a little bit after turning 18. It was a minute there. And I went to Vegas, start playing. I used to play craps and I would play other games, but keep the winnings at a certain level, a few $100, $500. I didn't want to raise any eyebrows and have them card me for taxes and stuff. But anyhow, in February of 1994, one of the first major heists happened. And this heist was at Harrah's, I believe. And this was right about the time I got arrested in California in February 16th of 1994. And I got out on bail 2 days after I was arrested, whatever it was. And while I was still out on bail, before I went to my sentencing hearing, I made a run. Me and a connected guy from Michigan, he came out here, picked up a load, and we went on the Greyhound, kind of a test run to get used to the trip that it takes to get back there and kind of get an idea of how that goes and what you got to go through. And, you get to learn how easy it is for them to search people on those interstate buses, by the way. But we were in Vegas at the time. It was like a week, I want to say 5 days after the first one happened. So I'm going to play this video first, and we're going to cut into it at points, and we will make some commentary as it happens. So this is from a store. This is from Wonder TV, whoever that is.
Black and white surveillance cameras capture a suspicious group entering the casino. They make their way to the...
Yeah, they're all wearing masks. I'd say that's highly suspicious. Wouldn't you? I don't think it really took for the cameras to spot the suspicion.
I think the security thought they were all really ugly, so that's probably why they were.
They're a bunch of the Elephant Man wearing a hood over his face.
Cage.
Okay. Here we go. Look at that. Dives right through.
Dive under the 15-inch clearance below the cage.
I'll tell you right now, without knowing their description yet, you guys, as you can imagine, these are the kind of guys that are athletic. We'll just say these are athletic Americans. So these are athletic Americans.
As they ransack the cage, casino staff offer no resistance.
All right, casino staff, no resistance. in the mob days, do you think casino staff would offer no resistance?
They'd be waiting outside for him.
Yeah, they would be in the back room. They'd put the cigar down. And well, again, these boys wouldn't be trying this if they knew that Joe Pesci and his crew were waiting in the back room, for this kind of shit.
No doubt.
The thugs inside the cage.
Hey, I like how the news still called them thugs back then. I don't think they're allowed to be called thugs anymore. The thugs. Woo. This is old school.
And race for the door. In less than 2 minutes, the robbers bagged 47 grand in cash.
47 G's in 1994.
Like this had happened.
First time.
Takeover of the casino cage area.
The heart of every casino is the cage, a highly secure area where money is counted and chips and tokens can be exchanged for cash.
Yeah, look at that.
Cage. This is run a lot like a bank, but honestly, this is more secure than any bank.
Yeah, more secure than any bank.
This is where all the money is. So we take our
These guys proved otherwise, at least back then.
security here more seriously than any other place.
For years, cages were considered rock-solid fortresses, even though a few unarmed casino guards, a couple of cameras, and a dark reputation were their only protection.
It was perceived that organized crime had a lot of influence in Las Vegas and that they were owners or part owners of all the casinos. Popular consensus was that anybody who robbed a casino would
Jeff,
end up dead the next.
Yo.
I got to go grab something really quick.
All right.
All right.
I'll keep playing this, folks.
Okay.
They buried out in the desert someplace.
But in the 1990s, corporations started building and buying casinos. Cages still had millions on hand, but security hadn't changed.
The security hadn't
And
changed
without the
yet.
mythic layer of mob protection, the once impenetrable fortress became vulnerable. No one knew it, but a violent outside force was about to change the game.
A violent outside force. They're called LA gangsters.
Game of cage security forever. The Aladdin.
Okay, the Aladdin, February 22nd, 1994. So this would have been, geez, it would have been right about the time, it was a few days after, I think, that I was passing through there with my bro at the time from back east.
In casino. Tourists work the slots.
I don't think the Aladdin's around
Players
anymore
huddle
either.
around the gaming tables.
Maybe it is.
No, it's not.
At 9 p.m., black and white surveillance cameras capture a suspicious group entering the casino.
They've got masks on, they've got guns, they start yelling, hitting people, knocking people down.
They make their way to the cage.
That wouldn't have been allowed.
The bandits are small enough to dive under the 15-inch clearance.
See,
below
back in the
cage
day,
bars.
They open up all the drawers, grab
those clearances were much higher than they are now. They almost every casino now has them a lot lower.
So they have it straight.
And
They have it
these were
straight to
just-
it's straight to the table.
Yeah, and the thing about it too is back then, because the mob ran these places and nobody dared mess around, the cages themselves, it was like a decoration kind of cage rather than like real, Fort Knox bars. You know what I'm saying? It was just there to have a counter.
It kept the honest people out.
There you
all
go.
the money they could.
Yeah, it kept just enough honest people out so that the mobsters could, start skimming.
As quick as they could.
As they ransacked the cage, casino staff offered no resistance.
They're not supposed to fight these guys. Just let them.
They're not supposed to. Now, imagine if the mob ran it. Would the mob's policy be, we're not supposed to fight these guys?
Not the people working. Most of them are usually ladies working back there.
Yeah. Well, back then in the 80s or whatever, if this had been tried, most likely there would have been a couple guys on the floor who probably don't work at the casino. Whether they're armed or not, who knows? But no matter what, they're going to be clocking this out, and they'll have their own, way of dealing with the problem.
That's why I said they'd probably be waiting outside the door for them.
Yeah, there you go. They would have they would have been on point with this at some.
Take it, back off. No amount of money is worth your life.
No, it ain't worth your life.
The thugs inside the cage leap out and race for the door. In
Look at
less
that.
than 2 minutes, the robbers bag 47 grand in cash.
This was the first time anything like this had happened. A flat-out takeover of the casino cage area.
Casino cameras see it all. But after review of the grainy black and white footage, they still don't know the identities of the masked bandits.
That's part of why they started looking into getting better cameras. And our modern day surveillance state comes from Las Vegas.
Right.
All the best cameras, all the new tech comes from like the Pentagon and Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
They could see enough skin color under their masks to know they were black, but nobody was going to be able to identify them. We didn't have any real leads to go on. There's really no physical evidence that would lead us to anybody.
That one dude slipped on his way out.
2 days later, LAPD was serving 28 search warrants related to a gang homicide.
Look at the old school LA.
The police rolled up at one of these.
Look at that. I think they're in an MA neighborhood, a Sereno neighborhood doing the filming for this one.
Locations, and a bag comes flying out, lands practically at their feet. They look in the bag, and there's a bunch of Aladdin casino money wrappers in there. Of course, that's our first.
Why did they throw them out the window?
Guys who robbed the casino.
They were being raided, and I think the dude was going to run out. They were being raided for other reasons. And when you got a big old pillowcase filled with cash, you're going to want to escape, but you probably want to take the money with you. So he probably threw it out.
He didn't know there was more agents outside.
Well, yeah, that's usually how those raids go. They got cops on each
They're everywhere.
side, but sometimes the dudes escape.
Casino had a connection to LA.
But no one is sure exactly what the connection is. The LAPD immediately calls Las Vegas police, and since the investigation has crossed state lines, the FBI gets involved. All three agencies
Wouldn't the
focus
FBI
attention
get
on
involved anyways?
No, not for a normal robbery like that.
For money?
If it was
in
a bank,
casino?
yes.
I guess.
State lines. But basically, bro, with how Vegas is, it's right there, as you know, with us. It's so easy to be in California or Arizona.
It's our backyard. Vegas is the backyard.
Yeah, it's damn near going to be interstate every time if it's especially when California gangsters from the 90s like this were pulling up on them.
potential LA gang connection. But nothing comes of it, and the investigation goes cold.
Nobody snitched yet.
2 months later, the Flamingo, another casino with easy access.
Now, the Flamingo was definitely a mob casino. Not at that point, it wasn't.
No.
Not at that point.
I feel like they moved it.
It's still up though, right? It's
Yeah.
been totally renovated though. I think the Flamingo's still up, but I don't think it's not the same one from back then.
Access to the cage is hit.
Four
If someone in the comments section wants to correct us, feel free.
guys come running in, guns out, all masked up, vault the counter, grab the money. They all leave, get in a stolen van, take off. Took less than 2 minutes, and they were out of there with $150,000.
150, bro. 150,000 on that one.
Damn.
That's a lot of money now. That was a lot more in 1994.
Once again, the robbers leave behind no clues, little evidence, and no suspects. Desperate to avoid a mass exodus of customers, Vegas increases camera coverage and adds security on casino floors.
The reason that everybody was so concerned about this robbery series was that they didn't want it to affect tourism. They didn't want anybody not to feel safe in a hotel in Las Vegas.
Oh, it sure got worse from there, huh? If their goal was long-term safety, they struck out badly because bro, some of these old school casinos are be in the hood now, bro.
Right.
Vegas didn't play their cards right on that one.
And that's what this gang was making.
That's why I stick to the resort zone.
People feel unsafe. They were unsafe. Nobody wants to go to a hotel that, looks like you're in bag.
Nobody wants to go to a hotel and have Bloods and Crips robbing the place.
Right.
Yeah, we get that. We got another 5 minutes
There's
on this.
no stopping
We'll
the
be wrapped up,
bandits.
folks.
2 days later, they hit Harris. Only this time, they amp up the attack.
Wow. Look at that, bro.
4 young men come running in, pistol whip a lady. They hit another guy in the head.
See, now they're starting to do the more crazy stuff. Not good, fellas.
2 of them vault the counter. They grab another guy by the hair, hold the gun to his head, while the 2 behind the counter rifle the drawers. Jump back over the counter. They all run outside with a little over $97,000.
97K. Hey, 45, 100 and whatever it was. It's adding up.
They crash through a gate and they go into the Harris parking garage where they switch to another vehicle. Police officer sees this van coming out with its lights off, 3 in the morning. He starts following it. The van takes off, the chase is on. They get the helicopter up, squad cars
Oh, the ghetto bird.
converge, and there's a 20-minute high-speed chase through Vegas.
Oh, that's not.
I think you're right.
Bro, a chase on the strip, that's not safe at all.
Subjects ram a police car that's at a roadblock.
The other thing, too, is these Vegas cops weren't used to Crips and Bloods by then. They are now, but back in those days, Vegas was much smaller, and, it was mobsters and, those racketeer guys. There was drug runners and stuff, of course, but Vegas was strict on that. You could go to prison for a freaking seed back then.
Control hit a fire hydrant, crash
Now you can smell like pot all over the casino and probably smoke in the bathroom.
into a telephone pole, and everybody scattered.
Police canine units pursue on
Look at
foot.
that. Vegas Metros.
30 harrowing minutes later, they bust all 4 thieves, plus the getaway driver.
All because he didn't turn his headlights on.
Yeah. The brother should have followed traffic rules. Even though he was robbing a place, you should have followed the traffic laws, at least till you get to the,
Discovered that the terrifying casino cage attackers are just teenagers from Los Angeles gangs, hoping to build up their street credibility.
The gangs will use kids for a lot of stuff. They'll use them as lookouts. They'll use them
Yo,
as
what
couriers.
up,
They'll use
homie?
them to pass messages, sometimes make deliveries or carry money. Because
Yo.
they know that even if they get caught, the kid will have no incentive to talk because
They're playing street corner craps while these guys are robbing the real craps
the
places.
dumber they were to put themselves in
Yeah.
this kind of risk.
These dudes are getting
That
nothing
means
out of
one
it.
thing to authorities.
One dude got
And
smacked
you have
up.
the guys who
Look at that guy.
setting this
That
up and
guy.
responsible for robbery after robbery. So that's what we were trying to uncover.
The cops put the squeeze on the attack crew, interrogating them for hours in search of the ringleaders. But whoever is running this dangerous scam has been careful. The teenagers don't even know the names of the guys they're working for. A year goes by.
And it took so long, the time kind of worked in our favor because these gang members, they were continually getting in trouble with the law. And when they would get jammed up bad enough, they'd be looking for a way to get out. They'd be thinking, well, I know a little bit about this casino robbery. So we got a lot of bits of information from a lot of people and we put the whole thing together.
That'll get you every time.
Authorities uncover not 1, but 2 ringleaders behind the violent cage raids. Melvin Foster and Chet Govan
Look at these 2 winners.
are unlikely partners from rival Los Angeles gangs.
Loyalty to the gang really goes out the window when it comes to making money.
Melvin Foster was a member of the Los Angeles Bloods gang.
He's dressed rather nice for being a Blood, by the way. They chose an actor.
That's how they dressed in our high school, bro. They were when I was going to high school. They if they went to jail or something, they were shipping them. They relocated them, and we had Bloods at our school, which I had never seen before. You know, because everyone that I knew growing up that claimed red was Hispanic.
Bulldogs and Norteños, before that, yeah. We were used to Vatos.
Midnight Cruisers. You remember them?
TMC. Yeah, and you know what? There was a blood set though over at Fruit in Dakota, which is where my mom lives. Actually, my mom is not scared of the hood. She's lived there forever.
I know that area. I remember she's still over there.
There was a group of Bloods over there, and then there was Crips over at Ashland and West. Those Hoyas, they call themselves, because they lived on Holt. They wore Georgetown gear back in the day, the starter jackets and stuff. And then there was Dakota Hoods over where you lived, and right near where our mutual friend Kent and a few others lived.
No, Pleasant Village.
Yeah, Unpleasant Village.
Yeah.
He had gotten
I missed the hood.
the idea for the robberies
The
after he
barrio.
traveled
No, actually, I live in
Vegas
Clovis,
and
bro.
recognized
I don't miss it at all.
a serious flaw in
And
casino
you're in
cages.
Vegas in the nice
Belvin
part.
Foster was well aware that most of the casinos didn't have bars and stuff. They looked more like a bank counter, but there was a lot more money behind the counter than you would find at the typical bank.
Foster had mapped out a plan. He started by choosing casinos with cages close to exits and with the fewest cameras and security guards.
Yeah, that's
Foster was
smart.
ready, but he wanted to increase his odds of success. For that, he needed a partner, someone street
Downtown
smart, someone
LA.
like him. But who could he trust? Family. He turned to his cousin, Dion Chappelle. Chappelle suggested a partnership with her boyfriend from the
That was
rival
Dave
Crooks
Chappelle's
gang.
sister, man.
His name was Chet Govan, who went by the street name Short Dog.
Short Dog. There we go. Hey, what up, Short Dog?
In
How original,
1994
bro.
Los Angeles, on a normal day, these two gang members would kill each other before they would ever talk.
Guys are supposed to be rivals, supposed to be trying to tear each other's head off. But next thing you know, they're involved in that kind of activity together.
Foster had the money.
Yeah,
and
like
Govan
in
had the
real life,
metal.
he's
They
gonna
needed
point
each
one
other,
at him and
even
then
if no
hand
one
it
could
the other way.
understand the partnership
Ooh,
on the
we're
street.
sealing our deal.
Foster and Govan used young gang members from LA's toughest neighborhoods to storm the Vegas casino cages unchallenged.
Finding young men in the streets
Yeah,
that were willing to get involved.
the
especially
90s
if they
era
got
guys were
it was really easy because
still
they
a
know
different
they're
breed,
willing to
though.
go out and do
80s and
something
90s
crazy.
era Crips and Bloods and
After the
gangbangers and
heist, the gang
gangsters in
used two
California.
escape cars. The first was for the getaway from the casino. The second car was waiting in a parking garage. Then they switched into that car with the money and headed to Los Angeles. The masterminds waited nearby.
Chet Govan and Melvin Foster wouldn't be anywhere near the casino during the robbery.
Smart
When
guys
they
on
got
that
word
one.
The heist was pulled off. Govan and Foster made their way back to South Central Los Angeles in their own car.
This way, they would never be connected with either the robbers, the physical evidence from the robbery.
Now, folks, for those of you who aren't from our area, the drive from Vegas to LA, especially late at night like that, it's just one long ride through the desert. And there's no radio either back then.
3.5, 4 hour drive.
Yeah, so you would imagine though you've got all that loot on you, and knowing that driving in that area, that's a hot zone for the CHP though too. They catch all kinds of people driving in and out of Vegas that are driving fast because nobody wants to drive in that monotonous drive for any longer than they have to.
Right.
The desert back there between Nevada and into through San Bernardino County and Riverside and into LA. It's a lousy drive. It sucks.
Robbery or even the money.
Incredibly, Foster and Govan didn't give a dime to the brazen young gang members who
Look at that. They didn't pay their boys nothing, bro. They were so greedy. Maybe they were like a real mob boss in that way, huh? Super greedy.
pulled off the heists.
The guys they're working for are not planning on sharing it with them. So they'll use them up until they can't use them anymore. They move on to the next youngster that will do something stupid for them.
Once Foster and Govan are arrested, the two rivals quickly flip on each other.
They ratted each other
The
out.
authorities now have enough to put them away. Foster gets 18 and a half years in prison. Govan is sentenced to 22.
The 5 men who we had caught after Harrah's robbery, they all pled, and they got between 10 and 18 years apiece.
For Las Vegas, the robberies were game changers when it comes to cages.
Yeah. So that's that, folks. The story there is that is how Vegas changed. How it went from a place that you didn't even need a lot of like bars, not the drinking kind of bars, the security kind of bars, and all that kind of stuff, and more security cameras, to a place where you needed all that kind of stuff. And the main game changer there had been the mob's presence. I mean, the Chicago outfit, the Detroit guys, and the Kansas City, all the other Midwest groups, when they had guys out here, the California mob was involved as well. It was a different game, literally a different game. More comps. The drinks were a lot cheaper, often free. They used to hand out smokes to people back in the day. If you were playing, they'd give you a pack of smokes while you're playing the slots or the craps table, right? They didn't tolerate nonsense, except for the nonsense they were doing. And you didn't have to really work. They didn't really need a whole lot of law enforcement help to keep the place secure.
It's like being scared of your dad or your mom growing up, even if you outgrow them. They put the fear in you.
Yeah, well, they're scared of the boogeyman, right?
Well, I mean, you're scared of the mafia, bro. You're not going to mess with their anything that they're related to.
No, not at all. And it was different too. In these gangbangers, I ain't hating on them. They're just trying to get an opportunity at that point. They wouldn't have pulled that. And then with the Mexican gangs like the MA and the NF and their guys, those guys were involved with drug running with the mob for years. So they were doing different kinds of stuff, but they weren't going to disturb the casinos. They're just placed to launder the money for the most part. There's a lot of things that change too. And then the street corners in Vegas now, they got gangbangers that sell their wares on the streets now, which you would back in the day, you would have never seen people selling stuff, the illegal stuff on the strip itself. The mob would never allow that either. They didn't put up with that. Another thing too, junkies. There's junkies in front of these casinos now.
Well, that homeless, all that.
Yeah, Fenty, and the mob would have never allowed that. They would have kicked those guys out. They probably would have left town, quite frankly. Not just the strip, but we get the world that we get. So wrapping this up, back then, I'm going through there. We had a layover in Las Vegas. I said part of this story on Soft White, and I've said parts of it elsewhere, but this part I didn't really talk about, and I'm going to keep this extremely short because we'll save this for another time too. But going through there, my bro from Detroit, the newspapers, the Las Vegas Sun, the newscasts and the towns basically talking about this stuff, and just happened, right? And basically, dude's like, yeah, this wouldn't have happened, when our guys from the old school days, had this, and they had that kind of the attitude and the demeanor of somebody that was like, this is a shame it ended up like this, and it was. And it is, and it got worse when it came to these kinds of situations. Hence, last November 2025, we got a dude goes in, jacks a casino, leaves on his 10-speed, and he's still wanted right now. $5,000 if you really want to turn the dude in.
And who knows what he got away with? I'm sure it was more than $5,000.
Yeah, 5,000. That kind of lets you know, by the way, that it's not considered an unusual thing anymore. Like if this was one of those crimes that never happens and it just shocks everybody, the FBI would be like 100,000, 50,000, something. $5,000. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure when he'll get nabbed. Eventually, he probably will because they have so much stuff nowadays.
He didn't have reflectors on his bike.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be something like that, by the way. Like McCallie gets to watch the local news there. So McCallie, if there's any kind of if you see on the news, hey, the heist has been solved, you'll never guess what happened. The FBI noticed on surveillance he had a half of a reflector broken. Then when they raided his garage, they found that exact reflector. Without that, he would have got away for good.
Yeah, right.
Probably going to happen that way. So, and it is what it is, folks. But real quick, McCallie has a book here. Look at that. Catch 420. Catch 420. Great book. It's a story of part of his life, and it involves a number of my friends and then a lot of people that he didn't even know, by the way. That's a whole nother episode there about how you can get in trouble for not being involved with people that the cops, the FBI, the DEA says you were, or
they're always trying to build a bigger case. They do what they do it with no F's given.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that for guys who get done like that, if they want, they can go on YouTube and podcast later, and they can say, yeah, the FBI said I was the biggest dude in my county. And even though they may have been like a mid-level guy, right? The FBI, the DEA said they're the biggest guy. You'll never guess who I was. And they can still make a few bucks off of what they did, just a different way.
Trying.
Folks, the link for the book will be in the description. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, ring the bell. And we appreciate all of you guys watching. The video from the other day is doing extremely well. The one about Francis's reaction to Sneeko and the other guys, that after Francis did his video on the whole Miami nightclub thing. And our other videos are starting to kick off. We have friends here that also have YouTube channels, Gene and Hootie and others. Make sure you watch their stuff. And this is going to keep going, keep flowing. Leave a comment in the comment section. And if you'd like, you can leave a super thanks or send cash apps, that kind of stuff. And maybe we'll have a bigger incentive to go do this a couple times a week. But anyhow, thanks again, folks. McCallie.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Jeff.
We are out.
Peace.